All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is King Kramer with Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we're going to talk about Loki episode 2. Just came out a couple hours ago, right off the bat. What did you guys think? Brandon, what you got?
You know, I liked this episode a little bit more than I did the first. It's just like I said, the last week's episode really set the stage for something really, really trippy and mind bending, and probably going to show us a little bit more of the multiverse, that sort of thing. And it's kind of building a little more towards that. Also, I really think that it's cemented, if it didn't already cement Loki as an anti-heroic character,
Mhm.
um, this episode definitely did, especially with the interrogation room scene with him and help me with the
Brad.
character's name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad.
Mhm.
Hunter 5 or
So
whatever his name is.
Yeah.
X5. Whatever.
X5, yeah. And
But
Owen
wasn't
Wilson is
that all? That was Morbius's plan, right? The whole plan. It was just acting. It was all Morbius's plan.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of Agent Mobius, like Owen Wilson's one of my favorite parts of this show. I just love that character. He's like tasked with overseeing the multiverse, but in the end, he's just like he's basically a blue collar working stiff. I love it. I love the notion of him teaming up with this literal god and just having these adventures.
Yeah.
And I like that we're seeing more of the TVA.
The good and the bad of it.
Yeah, the good and the bad. It's very multifaceted in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like this episode. It keeps me wanting to see more and what happens next.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Brian, initial thoughts.
It's giving me a lot more questions.
Mhm.
It's giving me a whole lot of questions. It's not answering all the questions, but right now I feel like I'm enjoying the journey of it right now. That's what it is. Like I'm enjoying this stuff. But if someone says it's not enough action for them, there's not a lot of stuff going on.
Mhm.
They're kind of just jumping around and not doing anything, and it's not really advancing the plot. I can understand where they're coming from. I really can. I see why people will see, but might say that. I just enjoy it because I enjoyed Loki. I love the character. I love what the premise of all this stuff. I already do like it. So it really didn't matter what they did because I knew I was going to like it. I love the actors. I love the thought of what they're doing. I'm bought into those characters. This is season 2, so I'm already bought in. But if someone said this is not really hitting for me, I could understand them saying that because who the hell cares if you like key lime pie or not, right? Like who really cares?
But I think you're missing the point of what that scene meant.
I understand it
because you're like, oh, there's a pie. It was like,
or her going to McDonald's, and why did she choose McDonald's for this type of work, for her being able to do something that's on her own, that's just herself. But I understand why someone might not like it, but I'm involved with the characters. I care about their development, and I feel like a lot of this is a lot of character development before we push the story along. But if you're not involved in that, if you don't care, I can see why someone wouldn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't get it. Well, like we got 5 minutes of eating pie. You missed the point of that scene then, man. Like, because that scene isn't just eating pie. This whole episode is like simplicity and how it's connected with the complexity of this entire scenario. It's like, you know what? Everything, the entire universe and every universe tied to it is coming down. I just want to focus on my shit and be left alone. That's what it was. But it's like, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that because of who you are. You know what I mean? And each time, and then
even that, he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
And that's starting to come out about Mobius. Like, he's like, who the hell? And do I even want to know? And it was like, and not being something bad. He's like, no, I might be more afraid of it being something good. Which I totally understand that.
That was even more. So like, I'm cool with it, with me having a shitty life. Then you're like, oh, cool. I'm in a good spot then. But then if it's like, if I was God, if I was Odin, and like I was a variant of Odin, it's like, fuck, man, like I got screwed, you know. So I get that you don't want to know because you don't want to know you could have missed out on stuff.
This
you
is
know?
who I am
But,
now, and it's
but
it's
that
a
whole
good
scene of them, like, because I know, like Anzo was saying, Biggerford saying he didn't like it. That scene was great because first they get there and they even know how they get there because they leave an argument with Brad and they're all like, because Brad just pretty much picked them apart. It's like, this is who you are and this is who you are and you guys suck, you know. And then they both realize kind of like, oh shit, yeah, I'm the bad guy and I'm the nobody, you know. And they get to this spot, and I love that scene because then like Loki's kind of poking fun of Avengers 1. You know, he's like, yeah, I had this grand plan, like, what was his glorious purpose shit he always says, and then at the end of the day, it was just like I let my emotions get the best of
You're the
me and
best
I was
of
trying
you,
to do
yeah.
stupid shit, and I'm like, that's something so cool where we can go back and look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, I can see how you might have let your, so that scene of them just kind of literally opening up to each other, is like, yeah, I'm a god and I still let it bother me. And I was about to take over a world, and so I enjoyed that, like the the beginning could have, like Ken said, it was a little bit long. It was nah, man.
I'm about Brandon right now too.
But that's the thing too, is like, to me, character development forwards the plot. If the plot has to forward a character, then you're not doing it right. Characters is what push the plot. No, the plot pushes the characters to where they need to go. If a character does something to get to a plot point, then you're not doing it right. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But it's like just storytelling. And I don't know. I mean, them getting into these issues were awesome for me, but it was a little bit long. I know Ken said that a lot of important things happened in this episode. However, it didn't need to be 51 minutes. I agree. A good chunk of the first like 10-15 minutes could have probably got cut down. Like, you didn't need to go on this giant chase scene for Brad. That could have been definitely cut down to just like, you're there, you get him and you go. You know what I mean? You don't need to set up that he's like an actor and shit. You could have done that super quick, but the beginning was kind of that, but the ending was amazing. Like, how that doesn't hit you.
Yeah, but you have to get there. If you're not bought into Loki season 1, say you didn't like Loki season 1, how can you enjoy that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm awake.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I was like, did you put him down? Yeah, I mean, but yeah, if you didn't like Loki season 1, you're probably not gonna like Loki season 2.
Because you don't care about character development like that. Yeah, you're like, I don't care about this, and it was long.
Yeah.
For me, I was in the car, so it didn't bother me. But it was long. It was a lot of stuff. So,
I mean, to me, once they started interrogating Brad, then the episode started. But that was about 10 minutes in the beginning. It was like you could have brought that down a little bit. If this was like a 40-45 minute episode, I would have been cool with it too. Because I get it. It was kind of like the episode didn't start until you started interrogating Brad, and then all the shit kind of happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the whole thing was going on with Obi.
I was gonna say, when you think about Obi, and then the other guy he's the only one who read the book. And he's like, hey, he signed my book for me. Like, they're going to be a really cool partners, I think.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Brandon?
No, I was just gonna say, definitely a lot of build up the first half of the episode, and like you said, it really got its wheels spinning when they were interrogating Brad. But maybe I'm just easy to please. I'm kind of invested in Loki and Mobius at this point, to where I kind of rolled with it. So see what happens next week.
But I think that's exactly what it is. We're invested, so it's nothing that's going to bother us. Like, I can tell you, I had no negatives because I was just enjoying it. I was just enjoying the episode for what it is. It's like, so when you've already decided you like something, you like it. It didn't matter.
Yeah. But then again, they didn't have 5 minutes eating McDonald's. But then you missed that point of it too. It was like one, they're waiting for their shit to happen outside, which is I like. He goes, what are they talking about? He goes, oh, it's complicated. It's complicated when you love yourself. It was like,
love is complicated, and then when you have a relationship with yourself, it's even more.
That was definitely a standout line to me.
Yeah, but I thought that was great because here, Morbius is kind of being back to his normal self, kind of like nonchalant, like kind of joking around and shit. And the whole time, Brad is like on edge. He's shaking. He's like, "Hey, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go." And then that's when it finally hit. I was like, "Oh, So
Yeah,
I can see because it was the contrast of the characters, like one very chill and one high strung, for a good reason.
Yeah.
but I thought that actually it felt like he wasn't being himself. He's trying to be himself. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to act like you're being yourself,
Yeah,
but not really being yourself. And that's kind of what I felt more than anything.
yeah,
Like he was trying to show that I'm okay. And when you have to
Yeah.
show that I'm okay, you're not really okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got that feeling. I got that feeling too, like almost like flaunting, like he got the W. He's like, I'm better than you. You're higher ranked than me, but I'm better than you. I figured it out. And then the whole time, Brad's like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to be here. Let's go. And
Exactly.
it was something I kind of picked up too. I'm like, oh, he's afraid of Sylvie, but then that wasn't it because Sylvie didn't give a shit. So I'm like, oh, what else is going on?
What the guy said that's one of my favorite lines. He's like,
No,
that was great. Brad's like, I won't forget you slapped me, Mobius. I bought you a shake.
And then he grabs it and like drinks it. Yeah.
But once again, it's still something like I really enjoy it. But if you don't enjoy this type of stuff, then you won't enjoy it. I can see it.
Yeah. I mean, but Loki season 1 was kind of the same thing. It was a lot of setup, but it paid off in the end. That's like the thing.
It also had a lot of action stuff too, and it had a lot of things going on. This episode didn't have a whole lot of action.
I mean, Loki season 1, I'm trying to remember when the action started, and the action didn't start until
it was only 6 episodes. And they were jumping through timelines and jumping to another timeline.
Episode 1 and 2.
And they're on
but episode 1 and 2 they didn't do too much either because it was just Loki trying to figure out who he is.
No, it was basically
Loki and brought him into TVA, and they introduced the TVA. So
it was establishing the TVA in the world that Loki was in at that point.
Yeah, but then you had to Loki had to figure out who he was because then that was like almost a whole episode in itself was
but
that
most of the stuff
season.
even when doing that he still was with the TVA going trimming timelines.
No, I'm not even talking about that.
Like
but he's just in the room by himself. Like that's an entire episode by itself is with Loki watching other Lokis, and then he figures out
actually still happening, so you see the other Loki still seeing stuff but I feel like a lot of this stuff is very character development type of stuff.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
if you don't care about the character,
game. Yeah.
if you don't care about the character, then you won't care about this episode. If you don't care, Victor Timely, you might not care.
They didn't even touch the King stuff yet. They hinted at it.
They hinted
at it. But this episode introduced a whole nother version of a bad guy. We're worried about Kang and what he's going to do. It's like now we have to worry about the people who want to hold on to the old ways, and the shit they're willing to do it, and so now the TVA is split, and I thought that was super interesting,
Rem Slayer is being out there, Miss Minutes being gone, the fact that she was working with the one who remains, there's a lot of really important nuggets in there. If you cared about season 1, that's all I'm trying to. If you didn't care about season 1, then you probably not gonna like it, and that's probably what the argument's gonna be. Oh, I didn't care about this episode. Well, you probably didn't care about Loki season 1, and if you did like Loki season 1, you probably love this episode.
Yeah, and that's where he like he goes, "Where's Rand Slayer? She's too hot to be missing." I think she's gonna show up next episode.
I think so too.
Because they already set it up, but yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, we might see a Kang variant. See that? Is there any part of this episode that you guys don't like though?
I'm not a Sylvie fan. I don't like Sylvie very much.
That's what a lot of people say. They don't like her. I
don't mind her. She's just to me, just
she irritates me.
I understand her. I understand where she's coming from. I understand. When you have no joy and you've been running all the time and no one's loved you before and all that stuff. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand why she acts the way she is. Do I like her? Yeah. Take her, leave her.
I liked her in season 1 because her and Loki played off each other really well. I think she's gonna be a different kind of character in this season, and have a different agenda, and I think hers is gonna be like, leave me alone. I got what I wanted, now leave me alone. But it's like, it's too late. You're past being left alone.
I don't think she really wants to be left alone either. I think she was sitting on her truck. She was thinking about it, and she was missing seeing someone you fell in love with. Like you say, you had a bad breakup, whatever. It's something that you did, right? And seeing that person, you say, "I gotta go away," right? But you already saw that person again, and that brought that love, that all those feelings flooding back. And you can't just go back to your normal life. I think that's what we're going to see. She can't just go back to her normal life anymore.
Yeah. Well, they kind of already hinted at that because Loki was looking at, like, when they first went to the place to pick up Brad, and he's like, "This don't feel right. Like, this is not where she usually would be at." Little did he know, like, she actually went somewhere where she usually doesn't go, just a plain, boring place, where he was used to her being like the end of the world, everything's gonna, die, and, everything to be cut, or snipped or whatever it's called. But yeah, I think she's gonna be very different in this season. But yeah, I do like that. Real quick, before I get some of these comments, what did she open up at the end? I didn't have time to rewatch the episode because I came down here and started getting ready. She's on the truck, and then she turned something on, opened something up. Did you guys see what that was?
I didn't see what it was either, but I think it's going to be something. I'm telling you, it's going to be something to do with her being in love with Loki. I feel like that love for each other is going to bring them back together more than anything. Because I'm telling you, it's like you love someone.
Oklahoma born in 2000. Let alone imagine the 80s.
When you love someone, and you see them again, and you pass them by, and now they could be back in your life, you can't just let it go. I think that's going to be huge.
I mean, she's literally running away from herself.
Yeah.
So
how long can you do that, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
The part of yourself that you love.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. I pulled it up. And get some of these comments. Xavier said, "I don't mind a slow burn here and there as long as the characters are well developed. They just can't do it all the time." Yeah, but like I said, it's only the second episode. So even still, there's a nice little fight scene at the end. But where's the other part? There's one where Kenny said something. Where'd you put it? Oh, here you go. Favorite part of the episode. Those are real lives. That if that doesn't hit you at the end of this episode, if that doesn't hit you, where they're just watching a screen and lines vanish, but they're saying like those are people. Those are millions and billions of people, and you just see them like boom, 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 just falling off. I was like, damn, it's it. I don't know. For me, that hit, where I was like, shit, that's crazy. And then all they could do is watch. They're sitting there watching just billions of people vanish. So it was like shit. That definitely. And then you had like Sylvie in the background watching it, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you said it changed." She goes, "It's worse than ever," and then she took off. It was like,
yeah. Listen, I'm gonna read what said.
Yeah.
Says talking about Sylvie, says she's still Loki. If she got the keys to the universe, the keys in the multiverse, she's not going to give that up. I think she truly is happy with her timeline. I don't think there's much manipulation going on. I think she always suspected that she'll come back, and that ties her in with a lot of the reaction to Loki at McDonald's. She knew she was on borrowed time. I think she kept it because she eventually knew that Loki would be showing up in the other variants, and he remains, or something like that. Will ultimately something she had to deal with. So it's a futuristic something from the timeline. Basically, it's a Tim pad.
Like a future.
So it turns out said it's something that he remains time twisting bangle. There's a time twisted bangle, which is essentially a super powerful pad for time twister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So she can open the door, go back.
Yeah, because she was doing something on her wrist, but she was doing that last season too, right?
TVA comes from a special necklace called a time collar restraining the captives. Yeah. So yeah, she is basically a time pad.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. She's gonna be interesting. You know, like I said, we haven't even gotten to the Jonathan Major stuff, you know, yet. You know, I just,
Yeah.
you know, just, you know, one half of the TVA wanting to save all the timelines and all the branches because they understand those are people, and then the other half of the TVA is like, I don't give a shit. Like, let's go back to
Let's
how it
just
used
do
to
like
be.
we were doing.
You know, and yeah, that was kind of nuts.
To answer it,
Yeah.
it's he who remains time twisting bangle.
Oh, that's
It's
yeah.
he who remains time twisting bangle. That's what it is. But it's temp pad. Basically, it's futuristic temp pad. But yeah, it's his bangle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He had it on his like hand or wrist and thing like that. Shit, I forgot about that. I think they even showed it too in the episode, like in the recap part. They showed it, you know, where her holding it. No, that makes sense. But Kenny said, I like Sylvie. She's right for being pissed. She was hunted since she was a youngling. Yeah, I can emphasize with that. Yeah, you know, I get why she is the way she is. You know, but now things are different though. You know, what do you do now when you're the one with all the power? You know, it's like, you know, yeah. She had that time reverse thing that he who remained had in season 1 finale. There you go. Could just ask Kenny. Yeah, that's why they couldn't touch him. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed this episode a lot. You know, like I said, a lot of action didn't happen, but it was a lot of setup. It was a lot of setup, you know, with characters and stuff like that. And
yeah.
You have to like Loki.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what, you know, the first couple episodes should do that. I think it was there like 8 episodes of this thing.
Yep.
You know, I'm glad they didn't meet Sylvie in episode 4, you know, like Ahsoka did. Like, oh, hey, here's Thrawn. There's only 2 episodes left. I was like, what the fuck? You know, it's like we found Sylvie in the next episode. Now we're gonna find Renslayer in the next episode. And I'm assuming we find Renslayer with I was gonna say Jonathan Major with King, a King. You know, so you're talking about by the 3rd episode, we're gonna have all the major characters on screen, and
so it's still only 6 episodes, guys.
Is it 6?
So it's not like they're doing anything different than Star Wars. Ahsoka.
Yeah, but if each one is like 50-ish minutes, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but that was my one dislike. Was like the beginning was a little. You didn't need to go on that long like chase scene to get this dude, you know, and then at the end he really wasn't anybody too important. Besides, he had some information, so you know, you could have done that quicker.
Agreed.
That's my only issue. It should have been a little bit shorter.
Me knowing that now it ends on November 9th makes me sad.
Yeah, okay.
This makes me sad.
Yeah.
I agree
we waited over 2 years, right?
I know.
And then we get this. Of all the wonderful places she could have chosen to eat and work at in the 80s, she chose McDonald's. 1984, Sauk City, Wisconsin. She could have came to Culver's.
I was saying the 80s though. Was it? Yeah. Was it the
1984? Sauk City, Wisconsin. We could have had Culver's. We in Wisconsin, the middle of Sauk City, Wisconsin. Come on, that's like Oklahoma.
Yeah,
it's the middle of nowhere. Ain't nothing else going on there.
Yeah,
and we could have had cheese curds. We could have had cheese curds, guys.
Have you been to Oklahoma? I never been.
Yeah, a couple of my family members live out there, so put some goddamn respect on it.
They're ready to leave too. What you talking about, man?
Nah, but I don't know. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed all the parts. You know, it's set up more Mobius to have a bigger like end game role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they set it up like, don't you want to know who you are? They started showing that it's like, so the whole time, like, is it going to be a good life or a bad life? You know, and that's going to be like that thing heading in through the rest of the season. And like, is he? Remember the whole jet ski thing in season 1? You know, the whole pie thing that also came over from season 1. You know, where he loved key lime pie. So it was like who is this dude? You know,
and I think that's what they're going to dangle in front of him.
Yeah,
realize that I could tell you who you are. I could tell you where you came from.
Yeah, And I wouldn't mind because I think a lot of people are gonna start speculating he's some big guy. Like, oh, he's this character and he's that character and blah blah blah. I wouldn't mind if at the end of the day they're just like, you were a normal dude that had a wife and a kid and
That's
you were
exactly
just
what I
happy.
think. He was a man with a family, and
You
that's
know,
going to be something
and
he
I
missed
think
out
that's
on.
for him, that's enough. He's like, that's all he kind of wanted. He lives in Florida and he has a jet ski and he drives every day and he has a wife and a kid. Like
Mhm.
something along those lines. So. And I'd be totally fine with that. He doesn't need to be this giant reveal where he's secretly fucking Professor X or something stupid. It's
Yeah.
like have him be a normal dude and just have a life, a
Yeah.
normal life.
It's
I
like
think
everybody else.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
like everybody else.
But they could. I don't know if they will. They could go kind of like the opposite, where
Well, he's a huge variant of somebody. Then he could have became something else, like
Yeah.
Thor. He's a Thor variant,
yeah, he's a Thor variant. Hey, that would be.
and that's why he and Loki get along so well.
He's that professor. Hey, you don't know. Got all the timelines. Yeah, I was still under the impression that he is a Loki variant.
Mhm.
He's like one of the first Loki variants. That they like took. I'd be cool with that too. But the more we spend time with this character, the more I just want him to be a normal dude with just a normal life.
Yeah,
And
same.
that's enough for him. You know what I mean?
I don't think he could be a Loki variant. The thing
I
about
don't think
Loki
so either.
variants is just that because Loki is so freaking old too.
Mm.
I feel like to be before Loki is a lot.
Yeah. He had this big jet ski obsession in season 1. He would
Yeah.
like read jet ski
He had a picture of him on
catalogs.
jet ski. I can't wait to see this jet ski.
Yeah.
Just look at it. It looks so cool to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was the season 1 thing. So I don't know. I think who else said they like season 1 a lot? Was it Kenny?
Mhm.
And season 1 was probably one of my favorite seasons. It's up there with one of my favorite MCU things. That WandaVision I enjoyed a lot. A lot of people didn't like Loki season 1. So you're definitely, like you said, you're not gonna like season 2 then. Because that's just more of the same.
It's an acquired taste for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's Loki liking jet skis. I can only live so long in the TVA.
That's a good question.
Yeah. What is it? The TVA is
Outside
outside
time.
of time.
Mhm.
So,
But how
yeah.
did when they go back into time that they don't age?
I mean, if you're outside of time, you just get plopped back in somewhere else. You're not gonna do the
Don't start to add
instant.
up after a while.
Yeah.
I'm not
Or do
saying
you just
become a
continue aging at that time?
like I don't
I don't
think
know.
I'm not saying you're a crypt keeper, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
continue,
Yeah.
continue to age.
Yeah. You eat, your body ages. You're thinking too much of it, man.
I'm like very Star Wars, the Force.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think Obi's is 400 at least. He's probably older than that.
Yeah, that's just the last time we saw Morbius.
Yeah, that was the last.
Mobius, like
Yeah. So, yeah, he's probably older than that, and he's the one that wrote the freaking book.
Yeah.
Like that'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
Like he winds up being a king variant. That's how they wind up. They wind up getting Jonathan
How crazy
Majors
would
out.
that be? How crazy would that be? Mhm.
Well, oh yeah, don't forget to like the stream. Appreciate it, Ken. But yeah, anybody
Thanks,
going to
Ken, man.
hit that like button, hit that little thumbs up.
Mhm.
Helps us out a lot. Loki saw the same dudes in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was only 30-year gap. You could probably go 300 years and still see exactly the same guys.
Yeah.
And that would be probably trippy.
Yeah. That would be to go that far back. But that's why I liked like the TVA, like everything, like all their outfits, like he looks like he's from like the way he dressed in that brown kind of suit. Like it looks like older. And especially season 1, they definitely went hard in that like that certain look of everything. I can't think of what it's called. but everything had that old look to it. You know,
it was vintage. It's almost like 80s kind of type of look. Yeah.
Yeah. But Matt, I see a question. We'll answer that in a little bit.
Definitely answer that next.
We're gonna finish up things up.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go to bed soon.
Yeah.
So it's like Cuba.
Yeah. All right. So we'll finish up. Anything? Any like conspiracies? Any predictions? Or anything you want to see, or anything that you want to say one last time before we move on?
Oh, I don't do that here.
I have a question. Do you think we'll get Thor anytime in this?
It would be cool. It's not necessary, but it would be cool just to see Thor's reaction.
I actually think we will see Thor in it. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if Mobius is a Thor variant type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they have such a good rapport with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they enjoy spending time with each other, and they understand each other because they'll be brothers in another thing. You know,
but that would be cool. At the same time, I wouldn't mind if this was Loki, because it's like the redemption arc for the more kind of villainous Loki that we saw in the Avengers, in the initial Avengers movie. It would be interesting to see like another version of him go from like villainous to anti-hero, where he is now, to potentially, who knows. So I'd be fine to see where they go with that, assuming it is Loki.
Yeah. I think I read something this past week, and they said the end game of the Loki show is to get Loki and Thor back together. You know, it might not be for this season or whatever, but they said the end game is to bring him back together, which I'm all for. Those two guys need to be together. They work so well together. But yeah, that might be like 2 seasons from now or something. I don't know.
No, they needs to happen.
Well, yeah, it needs to happen before the next Thor movie for sure.
I just wanted to happen and it to be like at the end, and don't explain anything. Just all of a sudden they get it back together.
Yeah,
and then we can explain it somewhere else.
Yeah. So last few comments. Xavier said, "I can't wait to see how they handle Victor Timely." Same. Yeah, you know, it's gonna be cool seeing Jonathan Majors back as a variant of this character, but a very different version of this character. So you know, he was very goofy and like loosey goosey, you know, as he remains, and this one is gonna be very different. So it's gonna be fun. And then Kenny said, "I think we see Doctor Strange at the end of the season to recruit Loki and crew to deal with incursions."
That'd be cool.
Very cool, Kenny. I like
that. I like that. Poon's Cat said the Loki that went to Earth and loved to jet ski. It could be the Thor that never got his powers back. Like he was abandoned on Earth and never was worthy, and he's like, I'm gonna go jet ski. That feels like what a young Thor would do. He's like, I got jet skis here.
We saw in What If, you know, he's like, what he'll do: drink and pillage.
Yeah, exactly. And Matt, do you think Loki will be renewed for a 3rd season? It could. It's too early. It could. Yeah. It's too early. It all depends on how this season ends.
It depends on how many screens. Like, it's been watched by a lot of screens. Oh, I think it's 860,000 screens or something like that have watched it in 5 days. So it really depends on that.
Yeah, it was the 2nd best season premiere for Disney Plus this year. So it's doing well enough, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, also depends on where they're going, because Marvel as a whole is gonna cut back on content. So
yeah,
we shall see. But cool. But I think that's it for this one. You know, thank you everybody in the comments coming and hang out with us and talk about this and give us all your opinions, whether you hate it, whether you love it, or you're somewhere in the middle. I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're gonna be back next Thursday talking about the next episode. And then hopefully me and Brian, I know Brian for sure, hopefully me, can join Brian on Chaos Central with Big Ford Entertainment, Anzo, and all those guys over there.
Hey, as long as we get home fast enough, because we'll be at the Bears game.
Oh shit, that's right. That might not even.
Probably going to join you guys in the parking lot. So.
Yeah.
So all three of us. I might have to do something with that. We might throw something up there for you guys.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I forgot we are going to a football game. But hopefully not. Either way, still go check out Chaos Central. They have their roundtable. So check them out. If we're not there this week, we're definitely gonna be there, in the upcoming weeks and stuff like that. Yeah, so go check out Chaos Central. I'll put a link somewhere down below. You can check that out. And appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I know Kenny, he does a watch party as well. So, if you want to do a watch party with somebody, Kenny does one. Bigger Ford Entertainment does one too. So check those guys out if you want to watch the show with somebody. But appreciate everyone there. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, lets YouTube know we're doing some good stuff. But we appreciate everyone checking us out on the replay. If you're watching live, stick around because we are going to move on to our next topic.